Hi, my name is Angelie and I will be demonstrating some Logic Pro Tools plugins that I used or somewhat know about. Okay, so here's my mix window. Let me raise it up a little bit. And I just chose some loops that I guess I liked or was decent to play around with and come up with different sounds. But I do have other tracks, but that's not the topic of the show. These are. So I'm just gonna solo those with that solo button. So one of the plugins I used was a vintage EQ. Here, let me show you guys how to get there. So let's say if we wanted to add that kind of EQ there, you would go to EQ over here. You would see vintage EQ collection and you would choose which ones you like. I chose vintage tube, which is this. And what I did was I raised my high boost and I raised my drive over here. And vintage tube EQ, what it does is it boosts high frequencies and it adds color. So when I raised my high boost, all the high frequencies would raise with it. So I'm going to show you guys how it sounded without it, which would be this. I made a couple of tracks just to show the chords without the effects and the chords with the effects. So let me start from the beginning, and the first one's going to be without the effects so you guys can hear how it sounds, and then it's going to go straight into, or here, let me make a little space. And here would be the effects one, so I'll give a pause right here so you guys can be ready. But and prepare yourself for my effects. So before the next loop plays, I forgot to mention that over here we have options and I chose Silky. And I also raised the volume a little bit, so because I liked how it sounded like that. But the next thing that I will show you guys, here, let me X this out, get it out the way. The next thing I'll show you guys is on my pianos, on my piano loops. So the first loop is going to be without the effects. The second loop would be with an effects. I also added the tube EQ to this because I liked how it sounded with it, and I liked how it raised all the high frequencies and what it did to it. So yes, that's there. Now the other cool thing I did with this and the other plugin I will show you guys is the echo, and I got there by going to delay, and there's echo, so it's a sort of delay. I chose a delay echo as a plugin for my recording because it created like a nice delay effect. But if you see right here, what these notes mean is the echo would start on every 1/4 of the beat, and I really like how that affected my sound and how it made it. Whereas let's say if I changed it to an 1/8 note over here, which I don't want to do, I'll show you guys after because I don't want to mess up my recording. If it was on 1/8, it would the echo would hit quicker instead of, whereas when you guys would hear my track with the effects, my piano effects, the echo came on every first beat, like every 1 out of the 4, so I liked what it did. Here, I'm gonna show you guys. those were my plugins. I hope you guys enjoyed what I did with it. I will give it one last replay. Oh, be mindful that you can mess around with automation and panning. I just didn't do that in here, but that also adds cool effects to your sounds. Maybe here I can actually pan this just to hear what it would sound like. Give it one last replay. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Like I said earlier, I hope it was helpful. Feel free to leave comments below. And yes.